Hello, this is Sean Wickenheiser, and this is my final project presentation. What I chose to do was how RFID tags would be implemented into a grocery store. Currently, barcodes are used, and there's a few problems with them. They have to be facing a scanner directly to be rung up. The lines can be disrupted by cuts or scratched off, and items in a large order have to be rung up individually, and sometimes the person that's counting the items could easily mess up, maybe add a few more to the quantity or have a few less. And it's a time-consuming process. Each item has to be taken out of the cart, scanned, bagged up, and then put back into the cart. RFID tags, here's what they are. They are radio frequency identification tags, and they can send information wirelessly by a radio frequency. A transmitter can send a signal to a tag. The signal would then power the tag up, and the tag would send its information back to the transmitter. And the tags can be read-only, which is important for security reasons. It prevents like a tech-savvy customer from being able to change the information on the products. The RFID Pros, they would speed up the checking process by scanning all the products at once. They'd speed up auditing. You'd be able to scan large areas and be able to know what items you have and how many. It'd free up resources for the stores. There would be no need for someone to bag up the groceries. It also helped prevent consumers from buying expired products by comparing the expiration date on the product with today's date. RFID information, this is the information the tags would hold. They would have the UPC, the manufacturer, expiration date, and possibly even more information. Here's the context diagram. It's a good overview of how the system would work. It's much the same like the checkout systems today, which is good. To implement the technology, it wouldn't cost too much. Here's the data flow diagram. The customer begins the transaction. Of course, they present their cart and their customer ID. The ID is looked up in the customer database, and that information goes towards creating the order. The customer ID and the e-coupons are put into the order. In the cart, the cashier takes the items out of the cart. All the tagged items are put through the RFID scanner. The cashier takes out the items that have to be rung up by weight. They use the scale to be able to weigh the items, and the total from the RFID tags and the total from the weighed items are put together. They're found through the item database, and that goes towards creating the order, of course, and that information is given to the customer so then they could begin their payment. Their payment could be through a card payment or a cash payment, and that information is put onto the order, what type of payment they use, and then that order is processed. It goes towards accounting so they know what the customer paid and what items were bought, and also the inventory is updated so the store would be able to know how much of the items they have. Here's the data list. Some information that entities would have, like the RFID tag would have the UPC, item name, department, and expiration date. The item database, it'd have information about the items and also provide the price. Of course, the price isn't provided by the tag because prices are always changing. Mostly the customer order has the most information in it. It's like the most important part of the process. And then I decide to include a table to show how the entities are related. Like the top row are all the entities, and then down below are the attributes they have. X marks the attribute that an entity naturally has. For example, the items, they naturally have a UPC, a department, and a expiration date. The item database, it gets the UPC from the items. That's why there's the name items instead of the X. Here's some additional information about the data list. Like a UPC is a positive numerical value, usually being 4 to 10 numbers long. And the expiration date, it's the numerical date in the format of month, day, and year. And it can also be a null value. Of course, not all products expire. And then here's the entity relationship diagram. For example, it shows one customer database can have many customers, and one employee can have many customers. They could also have many customer orders. The effects on stakeholders. This is how it affects stores, manufacturers, customers, employees. For the stores, the major change brought to the stores would be updated cash registers. One other thing I forgot to mention was the handheld scanners. They would need new hardware and software to be able to read the tags. For the manufacturers, their major change would be the switch from barcodes to RFID tags. And for customers, currently there's been customers have been bringing in their own grocery bags. So customers would bag their groceries as they shop throughout the store. Customers won't have to worry about the bags being too heavily, or meat product being bagged with produce products. And some people worry about RFID tags, that advertisers would be able to track them, but the RFID tags would just have UPCs and expiration dates. So unless someone wouldn't be able to learn too much about a customer, about the products that they have with them, and unless they had access to the database. Otherwise, they'd just know UPCs about a customer, which would be pretty much useless information to an advertiser. And of course, employees would be affected. Baggers would be affected the most, since there won't be a need for the groceries to be bagged. But baggers do far more than just bag groceries. They bring in the carts, clean spills, help customers empty trash cans, and a lot more. And grocery stores are understaffed, so they can provide service to other departments or help customers even more. Cashiers, they'd need to be trained how to do the new checkout process, which won't be much training. They just have to take the produce items and weigh them, and then send the RFID tags through the RFID scanner, and it'd just be the usual payment process. The costs from RFID tags, it'll be from updating the hardware and software of the cash register system to work with our RFID scanner, and also handheld scanners would need hardware and software to scan products. Manufacturers, it'd be costly to buy tags, hardware and software, write information on the tags, and also the cost of the machinery to put the tags onto the product. The technology now isn't quite there. It'd have to pass a few tests, such as would the scanner be able to recognize multiple quantities of the same item and be able to get an accurate quantity? If not, does a unique number need to be made for each item? And how easily can the tags be damaged or taken off of the products? And could the tags be covered up in some way to block the signal from the RFID transmitter? And the conclusion, the RFID technology isn't quite ready, and RFID tags cost quite a few cents, but a few cents add up quite a bit. Fortunately, the costs have been going down for the tags, and there's always a possibility of a different technology that might work better, but it is ideal to have all products scanned at once or as they are placed into a basket. At some point, the technology will be there, and the first step to being ready for that change is planning out how that technology would be implemented. So this project broadly covers how that change would be brought about, and best way of being ahead of the competition is planning ahead.